Hi, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Money with Alpha. Today, I'm joined by the lovely Suzanne Butler, who's a specialist in so many different things, but is probably mainly known for Feng Shui. And you can correct my pronunciation because I'm not sure if that's
That's correct.
correct. Oh, good. She's an amazing human. I've known you on and off really for a few years, and
Yep.
you grow and develop, and it's wonderful. Before we get too much into that, please say hello and tell us a bit about yourself because you've had quite an extraordinary journey.
Just a little. So yeah, I'm Suzanne. I'm here in Brisbane, Australia. And my journey has been one that's been very varied. I tend to get bored very quickly, and that has created a lot of like regeneration and change that, something hasn't fit, and I have never been scared to make that change. Like if something doesn't work for me, bang, it's done, I move on. So I just happened to fall into feng shui and I love it. I'm obsessed with it and I'm obsessed with what it's done for my life, but I'm also obsessed with what it's done for my clients' lives in so many different ways. So yeah, it's just something, your journey, you've got to be happy to step outside that comfort zone and try new things and see what will happen, basically.
Yeah. And one of the things, because I saw you speak at an event recently, and I knew a little bit of your story, but I found a lot more or learned a lot more of it. I was like, maybe only a week ago. I've lost track of time now. And one of the things, because you don't strike me as a person who really likes to conform. But I then learned that you were in the military
Yes.
for quite a few years. So I was like,
Yes.
okay, how did that happen?
It was like so when I literally, like I said in my presentation, I went home at 13.
Yeah.
I grew up in Tasmania. Let me just say that. I grew up in Tasmania,
Okay.
and I always knew I did not want to stay there. I know it's beautiful and all that, but there's nothing there. Like there is nothing
People
there
go to
for me.
retire there.
Yeah. Yeah. We had a careers day at school
Hmm.
and the Defence Force came.
Hmm.
And I went home at 13 and said to my mother, I'm joining the army and I'm going to be a cook. And she said, no, you're not. Like incredibly adamant, no, you're not. So I didn't. I joined the Air Force instead. And I wasn't a cook. I became a communicator. So I did communications.
Yeah.
I got a couple of postings and ended up in Darwin and ended up at HQ Norcom, which is actually an Army and Navy base basically together. It's where all the patrol boats come in. So I
Mhm.
started getting quite a good experience about what the Navy really does because let me backtrack. So when I initially decided I wanted to go to ADFA and I didn't pass the testing.
So what's
That
ADVA?
devastated me. Australian Defence Force Academy. So
Okay, all
to
right.
go to uni basically and have them
Yeah.
pay for it. Didn't get in. That absolutely devastated me. I went through
Mm.
that alone. I went to Hobart on my own on the Greyhound bus and came home on the Greyhound bus in absolute tears. Had no one there with me. Um, and yeah, didn't join the Navy and the Air Force said, well, we want you. So I joined the Air Force, got posted to Darwin, and I thought, you know what, I actually do want to be in the Navy. So I transferred
Hmm.
to the same job, but I had to go back and do some more training and then ended up on a ship. And yeah, I don't conform. That was really, really hard. Um, I was wanting opportunities. I was putting my hand up for things and being denied constantly. No, blah, blah, blah. You can't do that. We're giving it to someone else with a bit of popularity contest.
Mm.
So obviously that didn't make me feel good. In
Mm.
the end, I had an accident, fell down a ladder bay, had quite a traumatic injury, which ended my career.
Yeah.
And then it was, what now?
Yeah.
What do I do now? Um, and I decided, you know what, I need to get away. And I took nearly 12 months off. But my work ethic was so strong. I discharged and I went and got temp work.
Hmm.
And I was being paid something stupid like $14 an hour. And I was traveling 2 hours a day to get to this job because I thought I had to have a job because I'd never been unemployed. I've
Yeah.
been, every morning I'd be at work at 6 o'clock, finishing at 4. That was my life for 8 years, formative
Mm.
years.
Yeah.
And that has stuck with me.
Yeah.
You have to just keep going. You have no choice. So
Yeah.
I'm constantly being told, "Oh, you're so strong and you're resilient." It's like, well, I've had no choice.
Yes.
That's what my
Yeah.
life has
It's
been.
been ingrained in you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So where, because I saw in your on your bio that you found Feng Shui in a Facebook group. Um,
yes.
were you looking for it, or how did? Because there's always this thing
No,
like people go, but how did that happen? What?
yeah. So
How did that
it
happen?
came up in Like-Minded Bitches Drinking Wine.
Oh yeah.
Um, and it was just a link to basically a sales page.
Hmm.
And I watched the video on the sales page, and I just knew that this was what I needed to do at the time
Yeah.
because nothing else was working.
Yeah.
So at the time, I was in a very, very toxic relationship. I was running 3 businesses, and money, it was non-existent. It would come in and it would just like go out the other side. I don't know where it was going or what was happening.
Yeah.
Um, and I was rolling Peter to pay Paul for
Yeah.
subbies, for suppliers, all these things. And then within days of implementing, the money stayed in the bank account,
Mhm.
and things just started happening. I'm like, what is going on? This is whoa,
Yeah.
this is this is magic. Like what is happening?
Yeah.
And then it stopped.
Hmm.
And I'm like, what have I done wrong?
Yeah.
I've done everything. I'm the teacher's pet. I've followed everything to the absolute nth.
Mm.
Why am I now having trouble again? And there are a number of reasons. And this is where my money, like, I'd never had money problems.
Hmm.
I'd never, I love to spend money. Don't get me wrong. I have no problem spending money. Um, as a child, my father died when I was 3.
Mm.
And as from that, ended up with a trust fund that I got when I was 18.
Hmm.
And so there was all this money just sitting there, but I couldn't access it. I
Hmm.
had to ask permission
Hmm.
to access that money and was constantly questioned.
Hmm.
What do you need the money for? It was
Right.
my money. I
Yeah.
want the money because I want the money. I want the money because I want to buy furniture or I want to buy a car or I want to buy,
Hmm.
basic stuff.
Yeah.
And that came from my mother.
Yeah.
Again, no. I was always told no.
Control.
Yeah. And so money's always been there. I'd always had jobs. I'd always been paid well. It was never a problem. But then these money problems started coming in. What is going on?
Mm.
And it came down to I had my mentor jump on a call with me, and she's walked through the house and she said, "No, you've done an amazing job. Like everything is right." Until
Mm.
she got to my office.
Right.
And she said, "This is where you spend every single day." I said, "Yeah."
Yeah.
And she said, "You can't see the problem." I'm like, "No."
Mm.
It was neat and tidy, but there was so much shit in this office. Everything was stacked up neatly, but I didn't need any of it. It was
Mm.
just taking up space, energetic space. And then she said, "The way you're sitting, this is why you're having problems. You can't see what's coming from behind you because your back is to the door."
Mm.
And she said, "And you've wedged yourself up into the corner, so you're coming up against things.
Hmm.
So you need to turn your desk around for a start." Okay. Well, I'll get rid of this desk and I'll get another one because it was a corner desk. And she said, "Okay, good." She said, and then she said, "Hang on, swoop back. What is that pile of paperwork?" I said, "It's the tax returns." And she said, "Why is it sitting there?" I said, "Because I haven't done my taxes." And she said, "Why?" And I said, "Well, because I've calculated I need to pay tax and I haven't got the money to pay tax. So if I don't do the tax,
Hmm.
then I don't have to pay the money." And she stood there and argued with me for about 5 minutes to say, "Do the tax,
Yeah.
do your tax." And I realized, okay, well, what's the worst that's going to happen? I have to pay tax and I just
Mm.
put on a payment plan and, it'll be fine. So I did the tax. and I got an $8,000 tax return
Refund?
refund. And as soon as I got that, the floodgates started opening
Mm-hmm.
and more jobs came through. I was paying bills with ease. I was able to get a loan to consolidate a few other bits and pieces. A trip that we were supposed to be taking to Vietnam, I managed to move the dates free of charge, which they weren't, it wasn't a free, that wasn't free. I should have had to pay for it.
Yeah.
Um, all these bits and pieces started happening.
Mm.
Wow, this is actually crazy.
Mm.
Um, then it ended my toxic relationship,
Yeah.
and I'm eternally grateful for that
Yeah.
because it's put me on a completely different path now. So
Mm.
your money blocks will come up in very weird and wonderful ways,
Mm.
and a lot of it I have found comes down to worthiness. People
Mm.
don't have money blocks. Okay, money blocks, they do exist, but they don't. It's
Yeah.
a worthiness problem.
Yeah.
It's a belief problem. You
Yes.
don't feel you're worthy of having cash or
Mm.
having money or having clients. You might say your logical brain is saying, yes, you do, but
Yeah.
your subconscious doesn't believe in yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, and then we self-sabotage or something kind of like
Yeah,
I've seen a lot of times people when they come to me, they're like, "Oh, I have an emergency fund, but there's never any money in there because there's always an emergency that I have to dig into." It's like, "So why?" And some of them are legitimate, like, "Oh, my son broke his arm," or "There's something else that happens," or this the washing machine broke, or whatever. And I was like, "Yeah, but why are all these things happening though? There's another
yeah,
pattern there." And there's a certain amount that you can do with the conscious mind, which is,
yeah,
because you have to use your conscious mind in order to identify the beliefs and that. There's other things though that are at play that we can't always get to consciously,
yeah,
which is
yeah,
where we need to make sure that our environment and our
yeah,
energy is actually balanced to the point where we can even become aware and consciously aware of what's happening. And
absolutely.
this is where modalities like Feng Shui and the work that you do are really good because they help to clear the path for
Yeah,
us to understand. It just made me think too, because I was like, yeah, I actually have the door behind me.
yeah, but you've got the screen there, so nothing can sneak up from behind.
Yeah. So I
Yes,
don't always have the screen there though. It's
right.
there when I talk to others, mainly just there, but I do have it there more and more. And it's interesting you say that
Yes,
because I've been feeling the need. I've only started putting it there in the last few months, and it has made a difference actually. Like
yeah,
energetically, I feel a
yeah.
lot
It's
less
protection.
vulnerable.
You've got
Yeah.
support behind you. That's what it is. It's support.
Yeah.
Um, and like I see it, with people, there's so many levels to this. So your
Mm.
house creates a money problem, but
Hmm.
then energies inside cause a money problem, and
Yeah.
then energies in your office will cause a money problem.
Yeah.
And it's like saying, like the problems I was having at that time,
Mm.
so I was a virtual assistant, had my own business.
Yeah.
We had a martial arts school
Hmm.
which I had built from absolutely nothing and it was going gangbusters, but that was basically financing everything. And we
Yeah.
also had a painting business because my ex was a painter, but he was a cash man.
Mm.
He was an absolute cash man, and
Yeah.
it drove me to distraction because I'm by the book. I want to make sure the finances are right, the books are correct, the numbers are right, because I intend in the next year or two to have enough money to buy a house. I'm going to need these figures to be able to get a mortgage. Like that's just how it works. Like I understood this. He was a cash man. No, pay cash, give you a discount.
Yeah. My
But
dad was the same.
we have to be registered for GST. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Underquoting. Because if we get to the end of the job, well, where's the money? What money?
Mm.
It's gone on paint. It's gone on subbies. It's gone on supplies.
Yeah.
It's gone to your car payment. Like you have no concept of understanding of how a business actually works.
Yeah.
So that was a massive baptism by fire for me. Um, and that's why I now help business owners get their absolute bare minimums in place because a lot don't.
Mm.
Um, but we at the time we had um, legal issues from his ex-wife.
Hmm.
We had she wouldn't let him see the children, demanding more and more money, which I was giving her over and above what she actually should have had. Um, I was doing that.
Yeah.
Um, um, we had a legal problem with one of the students' parents at the martial arts school who were
Mhm.
claiming that we were discriminating against her daughter for being Persian, which was ridiculous because our classes were completely full of all ethnicities,
Yes.
and all the kids loved coming there. She just didn't understand that her child was misbehaving, which was why she wasn't getting student of the week. This came out of the blue, didn't have a conversation with us, just went straight to the Anti-Discrimination Commission. So all these things on top were then costing me money because I needed a lawyer. I
Mm,
needed to spend time dealing with it. It was costing my health, all these
mm,
bits and pieces, and it was all on me.
mm.
So as soon as I put all the feng shui in place, everything just dropped off.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was crazy how it worked and how quickly it happened
Because
because
you
it
were
just disappeared.
hoarding in your work
Yeah,
office space.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's incredible how quickly it works. Like one of my clients, Jane, I've been working with her for 4 years, and she finally this year, I said, Jane, if you're going to do this, you need to do it properly because I can't keep getting these emails every 6 months saying nothing's working when I don't know what you've done because you're not sharing with me what you've done.
Yeah.
So we made a really concerted effort this year and went over and above to make sure that her home was supporting her.
Yeah.
And the results have been insane. Like, I'm talking tens of thousands of dollars have been flowing into her home
Mm.
from various sources,
Yeah.
unexpected.
Yeah.
And I think that's where a lot of people don't leave it up to the universe and say, just ask for it. Ask for the money, it'll
Yeah.
come. But I'm only earning this much money. And what do you mean?
I'm a
You
big
could,
believer in asking. Everything,
yeah,
if I look back over my life, everything I ever got, the question or the ask may have come out of born out of frustration.
yeah,
But I
yeah,
asked, and I was like,
yeah,
I still remember my biggest change was a dinner with some good friends, frustratedly saying, because I was still working in tax at the time, going, I just want to be a writer. I love writing. And the next thing I know, I'm getting offered a technical writing job. Like, totally. I was like, I
yeah,
don't even know where on earth that came from. Just,
yeah.
yeah. So people who say, oh, I don't want to ask, or I don't know, or like, just ask.
We don't
You
have to
never know.
know the why or the how. It's
No.
like just ask for it. Like I've brought in over 500,000 in
Mm,
cash unexpectedly. Not
yeah.
from being paid it, but I had obviously from defense. I got put in a claim, I got a compensation payout. I got a lot more than what I could ever have imagined.
Yeah.
I sold my house for I nearly doubled what I'd paid for it 2 years earlier.
Mm,
Wasn't expecting that either.
yeah.
And many other ways that I've just received cash. And it's also the little things like yesterday, went and got a coffee. Did you want to use your credits? Okay, free
Yeah.
coffee. Thank you, universe. So
Yeah.
it comes to us in weird and wonderful and mysterious
Yeah.
ways, and we just have to say thank you.
Yeah. Well, my daughter laughs at me because I go to events and I buy raffle tickets and I always like buy this and then I always come back and when I come back from an event she's like, "So what did you win, Mama?"
I'm the
Because
same.
nearly every time I paid $50 for raffle tickets for an event and I won a $50 Visa card. I was
Yeah,
like, right, well, there we
yeah,
go. Or,
yeah.
win
I'm
like
the same.
photography or books. What, yeah. So I was just like, I love it. I just bring it
Yeah,
on. And then if
I'll
I
stand
don't
there
need
when
it,
they're
I'll pass it
announced.
on.
I'll
So,
stand there when they're announcing prize and go, I'll win that.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Call my
I've,
name.
I've
There we go.
Yeah, I've done that too. And I remember being at an event once, and one of the prizes was a meat tray, and I'm vegetarian. So I was like, I don't want that. And then I didn't win that. And then the next thing came, I was like, oh, I want that. And I won it. And I was just there going,
Yeah,
oh my gosh, this is like freaky.
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, it's when we kind of release to the idea, because then I get people who say, oh, I never win anything. I was like, well, you've just like, then you
You just
won't.
said that. It's the power of assumption.
Yeah,
Assume you've already done it.
yeah,
It's setting the intentions. It's doing, like, I find a lot of people, they don't want to change
yeah,
because it's easier to complain than what it is to make a change.
yeah,
And it's only until the pain is worse than making that change, that's when it will happen. Otherwise, I do have clients that they're just not doing the work.
mm,
The feng shui is in place, but
yeah,
they're not setting the intentions. They're not doing what they should be doing, and
yeah,
therefore they're not seeing results because they're not asking for anything.
yeah,
And feng shui will work, and it will give you harmony and balance, and it'll make life nice. But if you're wanting something big, it's not just going to land a BMW in your driveway or drop an Hermes bag in your lap in the lounge room. Like, it just doesn't happen that way. You have to have a plan. You have
yeah,
to set all the intentions and then take action to make things happen.
yeah,
Whether it is going and getting a side gig doing DoorDash, driving Uber or Amazon, or, if you want more money, there is money to be made out there.
Yeah.
If you have a lawnmower, go and mow some lawns.
Yeah.
If you've got some extra time, go and clean some houses. There is
Yeah.
money to be made. It's just that people just don't want to do it because it's hard. It's work.
Yeah. And you've got to ask people for money then. And people have
Yeah,
problems with that. I was like, yeah, but if I'm providing a service and you see value in that service, I'm not really asking for money. I'm just asking
yeah,
for an exchange of value, which the
yeah,
way we demonstrate that value in our society is through money.
yeah,
I'll do the thing. I'm not expecting money for free. Like you'll do the thing, and it's a little bit even like with the prizes. Like you have to buy the raffle ticket in order to win the prize. You have
yeah,
to buy. I mean, I'm not a fan of lottery, but if you wanted to win the lottery, you actually have to buy a ticket.
yeah,
Otherwise, you can't just expect it to come to you. And that's a classic example I read all the
yeah.
time, but it's still true.
Absolutely. I get asked emails all the time. Oh, would you be able to do this for free?
Mm,
And well, no, because I can't. But no, because there needs to be an energetic exchange because you
yeah.
need to appreciate what I'm doing for you. You're
Yes.
coming to me because I have the experience and the knowledge and I can transform your life. So you have to pay for that.
Yeah, because
It's as simple as
otherwise,
that.
yeah, they won't like even same with the work I do as well. People can get, I mean, you can over deliver, yes, but they've still actually had to see the value and pay the money in the first place.
Yeah,
And if you undervalue, like I've actually found I've made more when I've increased my prices because the value is there. And then
yeah,
people get that and they're like, oh my gosh, I value this so much more now and I paid for this, so I have to implement it.
yeah,
And it's only by implementing it that I actually see the value. Otherwise, we could all do something for everybody. We could even do barter, but barter is also difficult too because unless
I
we
don't
like
like bartering.
genuinely see the value there, it becomes difficult. But yeah, so
Yeah,
our form of value exchange is money.
yeah.
That's what we use. So
And lucky for me, like if you do it properly and you actually do what I tell you to do, you're going to see that money back anyway.
oh,
So,
absolutely. I mean, I so many of my clients like easily make at least what they've paid me back and more.
yeah,
So yeah.
yeah,
But they, again, they have to do the work. And the work
exactly.
doesn't have to be hard either. We make it hard because we perceive it to be hard. And that's the
Yeah,
other thing too, that perception of, oh, I can't do this because it's too difficult. Or even like, it's like because when you were talking about the room thing, I was like, I don't actually see how I could move this room around. And then you like the screen. It's like, oh, great, there's an easy solution. I'm already
yeah,
doing it and I didn't even know. So I'll
yeah.
just
And
be
and
more
that
aware of it
thing
now.
a lot of the time, Feng Shui, it just makes sense.
Yeah.
And it's just something, people like, especially like look at your office, for example, you'll see the little room, well, I'm going to put my desk there.
Mm,
Well, I can't turn it around. Yes, you can.
yeah.
But then, there's always the buts. It's like, turn it
Yeah.
around. You need to have a solid wall behind you,
Yeah.
or something behind you. Like use a
Yeah.
small.
It's
But
made me think of it more.
have something behind you. Like I've got the wall behind me. My desk sits in the middle of the room.
Mm. Yeah, we've
It
got a
doesn't
corner
look out of
desk.
place.
Yeah.
It looks normal. Like this is a corner desk,
Yeah.
but it sits with the return and then the front of the desk.
Mm. Yeah, so it's going to make me think about how I do this, or if I just continue to do the screen thing,
Yeah.
I could do that.
Because I look at it this way, and this is comment for women.
Yeah.
You would not find a Forbes 500 CEO sitting wedged up into the corner of their office
Mm.
or sitting at their dining table.
No.
They sit in a power position in the center of their office. And they can see they are in that commanding position where they're seeing everything that's coming
Yeah.
towards them.
What about windows? Because I see a lot of desks and they've got windows behind them.
Um, well, you've got four walls. So
Yeah.
you can, my window's here,
Yeah.
and my door is there.
Can turn
So
that around. Yeah.
yeah, there's
You
ways
can make it
around it.
like anything, you can make it work. Like if you
Yeah,
really want to, you'll make it work.
yeah,
Yeah, but it's
exactly.
then having the knowledge, and that's then what
Yeah,
you help people with is that
yeah.
because I still remember, and this I don't know if this is a myth, but I remember my mum at least 20 years ago was interested in feng shui, and the concept was still very new back then. Like not many people were sort of talking about it, and the main thing I remember was you had to have a mirror in front of your front door for
No,
something or
no
other. And I was like,
mirrors.
what's the mirror got? So we don't have a mirror, but yeah.
Yeah, no good. We don't want mirrors at the front door.
No. But it was something about reflecting bad like energy or whatever. And I was like, Mom, I don't
Yeah, but
understand that.
if you have a mirror facing your front door,
Yeah.
you're reflecting the good energy back out.
Well, yeah. Yeah, because she had a mirror
So
there for many, like she actually moved a mirror to be in front of the, also reflecting at the front door. And it was so bizarre because every time I walked in, I was like, oh my gosh, there I am. It
yeah,
just freaked me out every time. So
yeah,
I don't, yeah, we don't have, actually don't
yeah,
have that many mirrors in our house anyway.
no.
So,
Yeah, no, it's all very common sense. Not leaving dirty shoes at the front door because you're walking past that and they're bringing the energy through.
mm,
Um, making sure that you do have support everywhere, that that your cooktop is clean because
mm,
the hub of abundance. So having a cooktop that's working, that is
hmm.
clean, that's essential. Throwing out things from your fridge that are off or stale or from your pantry, that's the decluttering you should be doing. It's not
Yeah.
necessarily like if you've got a lot of stuff in your house that you have to move through, then do that. But if it's bringing you joy and you love the things, like I sit and watch people, they're collecting things, like they're obsessed with Disney or they're obsessed with, could be any Labubus, I don't know, whatever. And I'm like, I don't understand it. I
No,
don't understand
I heard
collectors
about
because
Labubu
I just
recently. I was
not,
like, what?
yeah. I'm like, where do you put all this stuff? Because,
Mm.
if you die, who's cleaning it out? Because they're not going to appreciate it.
The
You
children,
know,
because I've just had to clean out my dad's place.
yeah, but do you want that for your child? Do you
No.
want your child to have to do that? So that's where, this thing called Swedish death cleaning comes in as well. So
What's
you
it
do it
called?
before
Swedish death?
Swedish death cleaning. Yeah.
Ah.
It's getting you to go through your stuff well before you die and give your things away while you can watch people enjoying them
Yeah. I didn't
or
realize there was a
selling them.
name for it, but yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, my mother has actually been doing that little by little. So, but there's still
Yeah.
a lot left.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, the chances are they pass away and all you're going to do is just get a skip delivered and it's all going to go.
Well, yeah, that's literally the only thing I kept from my dad's place were a couple of little things and some of his jewelry, which I have since sold some of it, because I want it gone. I was like, I don't even want
Yeah.
that energy. The gold price is up at the moment, so off you go.
Yeah.
And photo albums, but I actually just took the photos out that I wanted and ditched the rest of the
Yeah.
albums because I didn't
I
want
literally
the
just
clutter.
did that the other week.
And then I'm going to be
I
photographing the photos
yeah.
and storing them on the cloud because I got
Yeah.
rid of photo albums years ago.
I literally have this is all the photos that I've kept. I
Yeah.
had a conversation with a dear friend of mine. Her name's also Suzanne, and she's in the UK. And she is also a feng shui practitioner, but she works a bit differently. She does a thing called interiors therapy,
Hmm.
and she will go into a home and look at everything
Yeah.
in the home and determine what it's doing for that person's life.
Right.
It's incredibly in a spot on. And I was having this conversation. I said, I don't know what to do with my photos.
Hmm.
And she said, what do you mean? I said, I have a tea chest carton of photos.
Yeah.
I've also got a plastic tub full of photo albums. I don't know what to do with them. And
Mm.
she said, well, what do you want to do with them? I said, look, I just don't know. I feel I'm torn. She said, why have you got them? And I said, well, they're photos from my life. Like,
Mm.
but there's not any photos in there from at least 15 years.
Yeah.
Like 15 years to now, like I haven't got any in there. She said, so they're from your past.
Yeah.
She said, what are they of? And I said, oh, well, there's, some trips I've been on. Or I said, there's an album here from my high school year 10 trip to Queensland. And I said, half the people I don't even know anymore. She said, so why have you got them? I
Mm.
went, good point. I sat there, I went through them all, pulled out the ones that, yeah, I'll keep that one. Everything
Mm.
else went straight in the bin
Yeah.
because half of them I didn't know who they were.
Yeah.
They mean nothing to me anymore. And it's holding up space. And I think a lot of it I'd kept because you sort of expect certain milestones in your life that maybe you'll need to show a slideshow,
Mm.
like a wedding or something like that. Well, when I got married, it was a very small affair, and that relationship lasted 15 months. I threw those wedding photos out very, very quickly.
Yeah.
Um, but I haven't had children, so I don't need to do the comparison photos.
Mm.
I don't need any of that because, well, it's not in my future.
No.
So I thought I don't need these photos. So they all went in the bin.
Yeah.
And even to me, that was like, oh, that's a big thing to
Yeah.
do.
It is.
But that was, 2 months ago, and I'm like, okay, well, they're gone.
Yeah. And there's a lightning that goes with that because I did something similar. I was living in a two-bedroom apartment for a number of years, and there's nothing like having no space. I
Yeah,
had a garage and I just saw
yeah,
all this stuff in the garage. And it was literally one day I'm driving in just going, this just feels like the walls are closing in on me, which
yeah,
they actually really were because I had all this stuff I kept building. And so I went through, and admittedly I was still single back then, so I had the time to do it, but I scanned in whatever photos I wanted to keep, I scanned them in, I tossed the albums, and then I cataloged them. And the thing is, it makes them easier to find. So like
yeah,
now when I was doing up a little booklet for my dad for his funeral, I could easily find all the photos I wanted because I'd labeled them and I'd filed
yeah,
them and I'd named them, and it actually made it easier rather than going through like a gazillion photo albums.
yeah,
I had all the photos there, so
yeah,
it's actually really nice. And then I don't have the weight of it all, and I've got
yeah,
them saved on a external hard drive. I've got them on the cloud, so I've hopefully got them saved. But then they deteriorate over time anyway, so even the
yeah.
physical ones, there's no guarantee.
No.
So yeah, I think photo albums is probably a big thing that a lot of us could downsize on.
Yeah, that and books. Like I've got a stack of books here. Well,
Yeah.
half of them I don't know where they came from. I've got to move in January. They're not coming with me.
Yeah.
They'll be going to the off shop or the
Yeah.
bookshop. Like I'm
I
not taking them with me at all.
yeah, I've gotten rid of a lot of books over time. My husband, unfortunately, his dad is like floor to ceiling books and like walls upon walls of it. So he grew up with that. He's like, "Oh, that's what I want." I was like, "That's not what I want. I
Yeah,
don't want lots of if I'm going to read them again, great. If I've read them once and I'm never going to read it again, why am I keeping it?"
yeah. I've got a Kindle. That serves me like because when I read, also I read very quickly.
Mm,
So it's not practical for me to have a bookshelf with books on it because within a day I've read that book.
right, yeah.
So it's
Takes me a
expensive.
little longer.
Was expensive. It ends up being expensive.
Yeah.
Um, like in the books that I have on my Kindle, there's some I've read a couple of times because I love the books.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I can't imagine ever having a massive bookshelf again.
No. Well, you
It's
can, and the
just
thing is,
not.
electronic books, you can actually tag like you can search for a word. Like sometimes I'll go to a book and go, oh, I wonder what page that was on. I don't know. I have to like flick through the
Mm,
entire book just to find the page I'm after.
yeah,
Whereas if I knew the word, I could search for it. So it's actually
yeah,
probably more efficient
yeah.
to have them
And
electronic.
audiobooks, listen to them.
Yeah.
Like I don't have to even read them. I can just listen to them and rewind and listen to that bit again.
Yeah.
So yeah, we just hold on to stuff because we think we have to.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, you know, I look at, people will keep hold of their baby's clothes. Okay, I understand sort of. Um, but instead of it sitting up in your loft or in the
Mm.
roof when you're not even seeing it,
Yeah.
why don't you pull them down and turn them into a rug or a blanket?
Frame it or something. I don't know.
Frame it or do something with it like that
Yeah.
you can see every day.
Yeah.
Create something for your future grandchildren that will be given to them when they are born. There's other
Mm.
things you can do rather than just stacking them all up in your roof space or in your garage just to sit there and rot. Like
Yeah.
it's not necessary to keep. And just because someone else gave you something doesn't mean you need to keep it either.
No, well,
It's no one's business. It's no one's business
yeah.
what the person you're gifting that item to does with it once you've given it to them.
Yes, because the energetic exchange is done. It's now
Yeah,
theirs. Yeah.
yeah,
Well, I've started to use my daughter found in her closet some of her. I've only kept like maybe three items of her baby clothes because she was really tiny, and she's got these Build-A-Bears, and she's now started to dress the Build-A-Bears in it. So they're getting used. I was like, oh, they were the pajamas you used to wear, and now they're on
yeah,
your Build-A-Bear. So I was like, I actually like that because now I'm seeing
yeah,
them and remembering how cute she looked in it when
yeah,
she was
yeah,
like 6 months old.
yeah.
So,
That's totally practical.
yeah,
But for the most part, people keep things for the sake of keeping things,
yeah,
and it's not practical. And
no.
I will always recommend everyone move house every couple of years because you work out very quickly. You don't want to take it with you.
Yes, I have to admit, I did a big clean. I was doing room by room earlier this year, and then now since my dad passed, and I haven't taken on any of his stuff. I've sold most of it. I've kept a few things, but like little things.
Yeah,
And now I'm looking, going, I think I need to do the house again. I feel like even just having cleaned out his house, I felt the energy of cleaning out. I was like, I
yeah,
feel like I need to do my house again. So I'm going room by room again. And I've already tossed out like 6 bags of clothes from my
yeah.
closet. I was like, I didn't even know how to and I'm looking at my closet going, I still have plenty of clothes. I don't know where the 6 bags even came from. Like, what was
Yeah.
I hanging on to?
I do that every 6 months. I go through
Yeah.
my wardrobe. Do I want to wear this? Am I going to wear this? Have I worn it? And
Mm.
like, I don't buy new things. I do not know where it all comes from and why it's all in my drawers.
Yeah.
Um, but it is.
Yeah.
Mostly, I buy something, I remove something.
Yes.
So I'm doing one for one.
Yeah, yeah, I've tried to, I did that for many years. But hormonal changes in my body shape and size have changed. But then there's a denial factor. I was like, oh no, I'll fit into that again. And then 6 months later, I was like, no, I won't. Let's just get rid of it. In
Yeah,
the meantime, I've, already amassed more stuff that actually does fit.
yeah,
So, like, oh, I'll have to just let it go.
yeah. But like even going through your kitchen cupboards and saying,
Mm,
Have I used this?
yeah,
Why have I got 15 patty pan pans?
yeah.
I need one. And I took the heap of Tupperware. I used to sell Tupperware. So
Hmm.
you can imagine how much Tupperware I had.
Yeah,
And it's dwindled over the years. But even last year, I thought, I don't need this. I
yeah,
put things in glass containers now if I'm saving it. So I don't actually need this Tupperware. And I took it over to the op shop. Their eyes bugged out of their head. They were so excited,
yeah,
along with all these other things I just don't use.
yeah.
And, and so I'm moving again in January. Over Christmas, I will be going through everything before it's packed. I'm not taking things with me because I don't want to have to store it or because I don't know where I'm going yet. I don't have to store it or move it
Mm,
or pay for it or anything. And there's these things called shops. If it down the road I decide that I've got to I don't know what's happened to a particular thing, then I can go and buy it again. Um,
yeah, yeah.
I mean, I did that with shoes, and that was a regret, I have to say. But for the most part, it's things are replaceable. You don't have to keep that particular item. Like I helped
Yeah.
my girlfriend moved. She was moving up north, and everything was going in storage, and it wouldn't because of the wet season.
Mm.
And she said, well, "Could you come and help me pack?" I said, "Are you sure?" And she
I'm
said,
going to Marie
"Yes."
Kondo that whole thing.
And I said, I'll do your kitchen for you. And I
Yeah.
went through the drawer and she had two or three of the same utensil. And I said, which one do you want? Oh, well, they're all damaged. Like they're all melted or like not one of
Yeah.
them's better than the other. I said, okay, this one. And I chucked the other two out. And she's just standing there. I said, you asked me to help you pack.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
A weight limit, you have a box limit. So this is what we're doing. And even in her top drawer, she had the glass house candle sticks. They're
Ah, yeah.
infuser sticks.
Yeah.
And they were in the top drawer of her kitchen. I thought they were chopsticks when I first looked at them. I said, are these chopsticks? She says, no, they're these sticks that I said, where's the stand they go in? Oh, I don't know. I said, why have you got them? And she said, oh, because they still smell. I said, no, they don't.
No.
They don't
What are they
smell. She
doing
said,
in the kitchen?
I thought I could put them in the laundry cupboard. I went, why are they in the kitchen? I said, no, they're not going with you, and I threw them out. So I
Yeah.
threw all these things out that just did not make sense
Yeah.
because it just didn't make sense. And I think
Mm.
at the other end, there was less stuff she had to unpack.
Mm.
Um, you know,
Yeah. It makes
complete,
things make sense.
complete chaos. But bless her, she's happy up there now. Everything's unpacked. So, you
Yeah.
know, but yeah, it's just the little things. You don't need to the kids with their McDonald's toys. Like, don't try and clean
Uh,
your kids' bedrooms out while they're there because they
no.
want to keep everything because it's
Yeah.
special. And if you do find that your kids have everything that's special,
Mm.
buy them a big plastic tub, get them to decorate it and write on it their name and special things, and
Yeah.
then they manage it. So if it's something special, okay, is this going in the box?
Yeah.
Yes, it is. And then when that box gets full, they have to go through it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good idea. I've
Because
been trying to get my daughter a tub, but she has these big squishmallows and she'd
yeah,
literally fit maybe two in there and nothing else would
yeah,
fit in. So,
yeah,
but she's about to get a bedroom makeover. So I was like, all right, we have to clean out. If you
yeah,
want to have your new bedroom, then all this has to go. So,
yeah. This is like when they're little and they're, bringing home 15 paintings a week that are a strip of paint.
yeah.
That, it's their masterpiece.
Hmm.
You can keep it, use it for wrapping paper. The
Thrown a
grandparents
lot
will
of
love
it
that.
out. I've thrown
Yeah, we'll
most of
throw
it
it
out.
away. Take a photo of it, put it in the frame for the week until the next one comes in.
I keep a
And
few
all the
things,
certificates,
but most of it's gone.
yeah, all the certificates they get from sport
Mm.
because we get those every week. So This week's goes on the thing, and then when the next week's comes up, that one comes off, and the next one goes on. Do
Yeah.
you want to keep this? No. Okay, it goes in the bin. Do you want to keep this? Yes. Okay, it goes in your special box. And they will learn very quickly, I don't want to keep this.
Yeah.
I had another client who, again, wedding photos, I can't remember who it was now. And she said, oh, I've kept my old part, like previous marriage. She's remarried. I've kept the wedding photos. And I
Right.
said, why? She said, oh, for the kids. I said, do they even want them?
Yeah.
She said, oh, I don't know. I said, go and ask them.
Yeah.
Ask them. They can keep them in their room. Then they're not in your space. And she's like, oh, okay. So she did. Kids didn't want them.
No.
What do they want them for?
No.
So, we hold on to all these things. It creates a blockage. Things can't flow. And it comes down to worthiness. It comes down to lack, which then flows onto the money situation
Yes.
every single time.
Yeah. So declutter, make sure your space is in the right order.
Yep.
And yeah, and then I'm sure there's more complexity to that as well.
Yep.
But I suppose they're probably the main. I mean, decluttering is probably a good thing anyway. I literally bumped into somebody this morning, and they're like, oh, people ask me if I'm still moving in, and that was 3 years ago. It's like, okay, if you haven't
Hmm.
touched it in 3 years, you probably don't need it.
Yep.
But I don't like clutter, but it's amazing how quickly it can happen, and then I've got to
Yep.
declutter again.
Yep.
But yeah, the furniture sort of spaces and that's, yeah. So, and
Yeah.
then said all the other things that go with it. And a lot of what I like how you work, because it's not just about where you place your desk or where you've got your things. There's a lot more to it as well.
Yeah.
And you delve into that because we're a little bit more complex than that.
Yeah. Because the energies in your home cause a number of things. So this house that I'm in is what we call good for money, bad for people.
Hmm.
Bad for people could be a number of things. It could mean relationships don't work. It could mean I struggle to find a job or find clients. But in my instance, it's not good for health.
Right.
And I back that up because the last tenant that was in here before me, as soon as she moved out, she was diagnosed with an aggressive breast cancer. My
Mm,
neighbor has been diagnosed with a very aggressive multiple sclerosis,
mm,
and no one picked it up for years. She's been here for 6 years. So
right.
she's been in that energy for 6 years. My bedroom is what is contributing to my health conditions.
Hmm.
Thankfully, I'm coming out the end of it now, but it's been a really hard 12 months and there was
Mm,
nothing I could do about it because when I looked at before I applied for it, I've gone, oh no, that should be okay, blah blah blah. I know where the bed's gonna go. I'm not, but I'm in my bedroom a lot.
mm,
So I'm in that energy, even though it's remedied, I'm still in that energy. And if you've got an underlying problem, it's going to amplify it. But that said, it's not been a loss to me. It's enabled me to do the deep healing and the deep work on myself and understanding, a lot of stuff around worthiness came up for me. Even
mm,
last year, working out, going back to asking for money, couldn't work out why I was struggling with sales calls.
mhm,
People would come in and they'd be like, yeah, I really want to do this. And then as soon as I say, okay, so you're ready to jump in, it would be, I have to ask my husband.
mhm.
And I'm like, you've just told me you want to do this. And now, but
Yeah.
I wasn't delving deeper. I wasn't asking questions because
Mhm.
I felt like I was begging. I felt like I was begging my mother for the money that was mine.
Yeah. Oh my
And
goodness. What a
thankfully for
realization.
me, yeah, but thankfully for me, because of the work I've done, I also understand when I access that trigger,
Mm.
oh, that makes sense. Right, we can move off from that now. So I
Yeah.
don't need to do,
Awareness.
weeks and weeks of work around. It's like, oh, okay, that makes sense. I'm aware of it. Move on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, there's always a reason for everything. Um, Nothing is like there's plenty of practitioners out there that everything's a disaster. If you get on any of the free forums, they'll be saying, "Oh my God, your kitchen's in the center," or "This is not in the right place." Like, well, what are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Yeah.
You're not going to knock the house down. So
Mm.
we work with what you've got.
Yeah.
So everything can be amended, changed, balanced.
Yeah.
Um, but it's just around setting those intentions. What do you want your life to look like? And what do we need to do
Yeah.
to make that happen?
Yeah. Oh, I love it. Such a, it's so, sounds so simple, but so powerful. And there's
Mm.
nuances to it
Yeah,
that really need the level of insight and experience that you've had.
yeah.
So how do people access your knowledge and how do they become part of your orbit?
Yeah, so my website is harmonizingenergies.com. So that would, can be your first stop. Otherwise,
Hmm.
I'm on all the socials and I'm always open for anyone to inbox me and say hi, just tell me where you found me. So and even send me a friend request, but also send me the message so I
Yeah,
know who you are.
yeah,
That's what this person is, why they're messaging me or why they're friend requesting me. So
yeah.
if you do want to do that, that's more than fine. I welcome new connections with anyone.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'm on all the socials. So just
Yeah.
harmonizing energies feng shui.
Yeah. And you run retreats, you do
Yeah,
one-on-ones, you do group
yeah,
work. Yeah.
yeah. I do
So,
all the things
yeah.
because I need multiple things to keep me busy. If you're interested in knowing what your house type is, whether it is good for money, bad for money, I have a quiz on my website you can do.
Mhm.
And if you're in business, I also have a business frequency quiz that will tell you where you're at and why you are struggling.
Yeah. Oh, incredible. And they're just free things. So can you imagine what the paid
Everything.
stuff's like?
Yeah. Oh, paid
Wonderful.
stuff. Next level.
Next level, yes. Now, like I said, I've been around you now for a few years and I've watched you grow as a person as well. And
Yeah.
and seeing you speak the other week was I was like, oh yeah, and we've been trying to connect on this for a while. So I'm glad we finally did and we can really
Yeah.
start to tell people more and more about what you
Yeah.
do and I can
Yeah.
find out more too, which is
Yeah.
incredible. So thank you
It's the
so much.
perfect it's the perfect way to get into your self development because
Yeah.
you fix the house and then things just slowly start changing for you anyway. So if you're
Yeah.
worried about and if your husband or your partner is not into the woo woo shit, then they don't need to be because it's not woo woo, it's just based on energy and
Yeah.
it will help them too.
Yes, and the thing is that some people need to see it or experience it before they believe
Yeah.
it. That's my
Yeah.
home. So you can still do all of this and kind
Yeah.
of not even they don't necessarily need to know exactly where it's coming from at the time.
No.
You do it and then they see it like, oh wow, this is really amazing. You're like, uh-huh,
Yeah. Hmm.
that's why.
Yeah. There's been many
Love it.
pay rises that have come in and they don't know where it's come from. So
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing
My
all this wonderful
absolute
wisdom and
pleasure.
experience. Well, thank you for listening, everybody. Have a wonderful week, and we'll catch you in the next episode.